Hola, bon dia, alegria, and of course, that phrase that now we have immortalized here on the Good Morning Portugal show was indeed created by my guest today. It is Filomena Friday, or should I say, Filomena Friday. Here she is, Filomena. Good morning to you, Miranda de Corvo. How are you? Tudo bem?
Olá, bom dia, alegria. Tudo bem, obrigada.
So good to see you. So good to hear you. Everybody, your question. This is the perfect moment to ask any questions about Portuguese language and culture this morning. This is how Filomena so beautifully helps us when she appears on a monthly residency with us. So we have Jordinja. Hola, bom dia, alegria. See, Jordinja knows exactly what to do. Filomena e Carlos. Bon dia from Maxine Williams this morning. Jim McDonald in Germany. Bon dia. Tapara Marian. Bonjour. Buenos dias. Of course, bon dia, alegria as well. And birthday boy Paul Richards in Yorkshire in Harrogate. A bit dull here, 7 degrees. And a very happy birthday. Parabéns a você, to you, Paul.
Parabéns. Yeah. Feliz aniversário.
That's lovely. Feliz aniversario. And he was saying he's now spending more on candles than he is on cake. I won't embarrass him necessarily. He may want to tell him himself his great age of wisdom and maybe chip in a bit of wisdom coming from your position, if I may dare say, as an elder, Paul. Tell us what you've got. Having got to a fantastic age, and I'm over-egging it a bit here, aren't I? But yeah, what's it like? It's probably like being 21, isn't it? But with a slightly different body, as I imagine most people experience on their birthday. Gemini, I'm saying it in Portuguese. Gemini Bradshaw. That makes it sound like Gemini cricket, though. Unfortunately. Good morning, everyone from Gemini.
You are half Portuguese. You are half Portuguese by now.
Yeah, right. We were accused on the wine club last night. Gary, myself, and Doc, and I include Frank in this as I think as being Portuguese to the core, if not in the language and the culture, then in perhaps our sensibility or our admiration. So that was lovely to get that from Elisa last night, and a very nice Marques de Marialva from the Cantanheda. Adega de Cantanheda, really lovely Espumant last night. You'd have loved it, Filomena. Michelle, hola, bon dia, todos from Michelle. Barbara's here, your friend Barbara. Hello, Filomena and Carl.
Hello, Barbara.
It's been Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry to you in Poland. Bon dia, como estás? I like it when it gets a little bit more formal with the como estás from London, Inglaterra. Yes, with an
Londres.
Yeah. Londres. Thank you very much, Iris. And Peter Bleach. Bom dia, fantástica, Filomena. Obrigado.
Hello, Peter.
So is he? It's probably, you can't, with pupil confidentiality, you can't tell me how he's getting on, obviously. I think he's probably a very good student.
He's doing great. He's doing great.
I bet. And Paul saying thanks, Filomena and Carl, and everyone last night that wished me well. Thanks so much. Happy birthday. Have a great day, Paul. What are you up to? Are you pushing the boat out in true Yorkshire style and maybe having a little bit of ketchup on your ham sandwich at lunchtime? I wonder. A special hello to Filomena from Gemini.
Thank you. Obrigada.
Another student, I'm guessing. Bom dia a todos. Yes, Filomena Friday from Paula Louise. From Poland. And lots of love to Owen, who recorded that original jingle, which I can't find at the moment. We're still a bit upside down with the move and everything, but I hope I did justice there, Owen. That didn't sing it as well as you, of course. Bon dia, alegria. The sun is shining. Huzzah, says Penny Albert. It is. It seems to be a much better day both in the UK and in Portugal. Bon dia from Alicante. Are borders still open? Now, that's a good question, Denise.
I think so.
Yeah. But I was asking.
I don't know.
we don't know, do we? This is the thing. I was listening to British radio this morning and heard that the Portuguese lockdown had been extended on British radio. I try and find out what's going on here, and I can't find out anything. Filomena had a look as well. No news at this end. I think there's a big football match planned for using the Porto Stadium with the two British teams. No news about that. Very, very strange.
No, I'm sorry, but I don't have any news about that. I haven't heard of any further lockdown. No.
Well, if anyone does, I mean, please let us know, and we'll look at that too. I mean, we've got much more important business in many ways, learning the Portuguese language and culture here, and that really deals with wherever we are. That deals with our everyday, certainly if you're in Portugal. So we'll focus on that. But any other info about that will be gratefully received. Obviously, about what's going on, as Marvin Gaye or the Four Non-Blondes wonderfully said in our musical history. Happy birthday, Paul from Penny. Bon dia from Joe K. Bon dia from Caldas Tirania, a new guy here. Well, that makes two of us. Unless that's an accusation about me being the new guy here. I've got to prove myself locally. Maybe there's a Portuguese custom, Filomena, that you should do when you arrive in an area. It might be connected to the Year of Grains, which we'll talk about after we've just said a quick hello to Joel up in Matosinhos. Good morning to you. So to make a very good impression then locally in my new home, should I have taken a little posy of things around to my neighbours? Tell us about Day of Grains, if you will. Oh, sorry, Year of Grains.
The day, the day of the Year of Grains. Dia de Espiga. Dia de Espiga was celebrated yesterday, so it's always 40 days after Easter. And actually, the origin is already Roman and Celtic, so it's a very, very old tradition, also to do with the first crops. But so this year of grain, years of wheat, yes, that's right. You collect a few poppies, a few daisies, a bit of rosemary, and the ears of wheat, for example, they always have to be in odd numbers, and they stand for bread and prosperity. Then a small branch of olive that stands for peace. The poppies stand for love, red, right? So always love. Yeah. The daisies for fortune, and the rosemary for health. And then you can give these little branches to your neighbors, for example, to your friends, or you keep it to yourself, right? But you usually hang it, in your house. You hang it there for good luck, prosperity.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And as you said there, let me see if we can make this larger.
Yeah, it says there 40 days after Easter. Yeah.
Yeah, so a little bit of a Dia de Espiga. Oh, there we go. The olive for peace. We got a bit of vocabulary for us here then. So this is really good.
Yeah.
Oliveira, azeite e paz.
Azeite e paz, yes. Olive oil and peace. Yeah.
Oil and peace. That's a worthwhile affirmation, isn't it? And then the daisy there, the
Malmekere.
Now you know what to do at home. You're not allowed to just watch when Filomena Friday is occurring. You have to say that yourselves at home, and we don't care how the cat looks at you, how the dog looks at you, how passers-by look at you. Even if you're at a cafe with your headphones on, please say these words out loud right now. So Malmaker is for fortuna.
Malmaker.
So fortuna would be for luck. Is that right?
Yeah, for luck, for fortune. Yes.
Fortune. My 9-year-old son asked me what fortune was, because I think I said something cost a fortune, and he said, "What does fortune mean?" And I was thinking, there's as in a lot of money, but also good fortune.
Yes, it has both meanings.
Yeah, very good. And the espiga we're looking at as well. Yeah. So that is for bread, of course, very important in Portuguese.
The wheat,
Pão, queijo. It will always remember, of course. Alecrim is rosemary, did you say?
Alecrim, yes. Yeah, alecrim. saúde e força.
Now,
For
forza
health
is
and
yeah.
strength. Health
For,
and strength.
okay, and now this is
Força.
something. This is good. It's always good because it triggers off other remembrances, memories that you might have of conversations you've been in. In fact, Filomena did send me a message yesterday when we were talking about what we might do this morning, and she said, "Any issues lately with the Portuguese language?" And I said, "Yes, most hours, in fact." And this is not an issue exactly, but the lovely word "força" that people will shout at you occasionally, or you'll see. Does that mean like yay kind of thing? Like, power
Yeah,
to
let's go. I mean, let's move forward, right? Força.
forza. Great. Okay. And we've got the rosemary for that. The poppy, the papula. Is that papula?
Papoila. Papoila. Yeah,
Papoila. Um,
papoila. For
and,
love and life. Love and life.
oh, very nice.
Amor e vida. Amor e vida.
Amora e vida. Okay. And videra,
Videira, yes, some wine sticks also for wine, of course, and joy, alegria.
and
Vinho e alegria.
sometimes they go together, don't they? The old wine and joy, as we discovered.
Lots of time, they go together. Yeah,
Yes.
vinho e alegria.
And of course, the translation that's coming up on the screen here, day of the
The day
spike.
of the spike.
That's the day of the wheat sheaf, I suppose. Sheaf might be, I don't know. But we're talking about wheat there, aren't we? So that's beautiful. I mean, that's a lovely vignette of Portuguese life, really, isn't it? Right there. And
Yeah,
you would
and
make a little
it's
posy.
again, it's sorry to interrupt, but it's again about sharing, sharing with your friends, sharing with your neighbors, offering, even if it's a simple branch, even if it's a very simple bunch of flowers like these, but it's sharing mainly.
Yes, yes, absolutely lovely. And there's another wonderful illustration here. I'll try and get it as large as possible on the screen for you. But this looks to me again another vignette of wonderful Portuguese rural life. Really, this may well have been
Yes.
central Portugal, of course, or it could be the Alentejo. I'm just zooming in before I share it with you on the screen. Look at this. This is
Yes,
that
very
one of those
nice.
posies being shared, right? So
Yes.
that young gentleman there is just taking a couple of minutes off his busy schedule to give his lady love there one of those Dia de Spiga poses there.
Yeah.
Beautiful, and yes, I want to be ahead of. I might just do that anyway, a belated one with the kids to later on today. It'd be lovely for them,
Yeah, you can still do it. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. And Ascension Day yesterday, there some places were celebrating, others not. I mean, I noticed a lot of pilgrims on the road on Sunday making their way to Fatima.
That was because of Fatima,
Yeah.
because of the three shepherds that saw the Virgin Mary on the 13th of May. So that is not to do with Ascension Day, but
Oh,
to do with a specific date, which is the 13th of May, which is
okay.
the most important date for Fatima. And
Yeah.
usually, thousands of people go to Fatima on the 12th, and then they stay on the 13th of May. Celebrations start on the 12th and they go on until the 13th of May. But this year, 7,500 pilgrims were allowed to be there. I
Right.
think it was 7,500.
As in that was a limit. Normally, it's much bigger, is it?
Oh yes, it is. Yeah, a lot more, a lot more.
And the
So
most.
it's very common in May. It's very common for you to see people, the pilgrims going on foot, of course, to Fatima.
Yeah, yeah.
To see them.
Yeah, when I was moving on Sunday, I was seeing people on the IC2. It's one of the main routes, I think.
Yeah,
Loads of people in their high vis vests. It was so incredible. I mean, they were being rained
yeah,
on, and sometimes the sun is so intense, of course, as it is today.
yeah.
And then
And
amazing.
sometimes they carry a big cross, for example. They carry something from their village.
Yeah.
So yes, it's quite hard.
Yes, indeed. A little bit of info coming in, Filomena, to solve this mystery. Paul says 16th of May is the big day. I thought it was the 17th, but anyway, it is this week. Or sorry, in the coming days. Anyway, going into next week, big day for the British access. It's in the Portuguese hands now, of course, as it should be. Deciding whether people can come in or not. Excuse me. No, I arrived 3 weeks ago. So also another, we're both new guys in the Caldash area, Joe K. We can face this together, my friend. Carl, it is the headline in the Portugal Resident. Council of Ministers, Paul and Louise, extends calamity to May the 30th. Okay, so the British press then have translated state of calamity to and called it a lockdown.
It doesn't mean that the lockdown is extended. The state of calamity or the state of emergency, or these are just because according to the law, if they don't declare the state of calamity or the state of emergency, then they can't put the restrictions, right? So of course, first they have to declare this state of calamity or emergency, but it doesn't mean. But as I said, I don't know. It might be, but I haven't heard anything about extending the lockdown.
Yeah, I think that is a translation issue, and it's not like the British press at all to get people wound up. But anyway, they might be doing it in that department there on that occasion. In Porto, is hold on, look at this from Joel. Mejes ka eiro kara o. What does that mean? What's he talking about? Is he being
well? He's being Joel.
Oh, okay, and we're used to it now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. A bit more joy in the world is fine by me. Yes, Jordinja. It looks like you enjoyed the Dia de Spiga there, and the lovely bit of well, maybe, I don't know if it is the flowers or the vines that you're referring to, or maybe all of it. Hola, bon dia, alegria a todos de California. This morning from TP Larson. Right, important to the Catholics. Yes, indeed.
Yes, it is important to Catholics. Yeah.
We will be looking at the word para, and I'm not going to say the other one because I'm afraid of swearing. I suddenly realized.
Para and puro. Para and puro.
Pura, because of course there is another word that sounds
pura.
Pura. Okay. Yes.
No. It's not the sound at the end. It's just puro.
Pura. Okay. We'll come back to that, but not until we've had a first question in from Gary. And please keep these coming in because it's lovely to use real case studies of what you're experiencing yourselves in Portuguese language and Portuguese culture. So Linda and I, the Austins, have encountered two different words for lessons, aulas and lições. What is the difference, and which is more commonly used for those there for the Austins?
Well, aulas as in classes and lições, lessons. So they are quite equivalent, aulas or lições. So you can say aulas de português or lições de português. Aulas, I would say it's more common, but you can translate as lessons or classes to, but yes, it's the same. Aulas and lições are basically the same.
Okay, so interchangeable basically. There, you shouldn't get yourselves into too much trouble.
Right? No, don't worry too much. But usually people say aulas. When you say, for example, Portuguese classes, aulas de português, or Portuguese lessons, so it's the same.
Okay, aulas de português. Brilliant. That's great. That's easily dealt with. Marcos Valbon, bom dia, meus senhores. Good morning to you, Marcos. Bom dia, alegria. And bom dia from a vaccinated Perafita. Is that just you, or is the whole place complete now? As far as lockdowns, we're looking at ending compulsory working from home during mid-June in our company in Matosinhos. But you were saying earlier on that teleworking is being encouraged to the end of the year, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I heard on TV, that it was compulsory. Whenever possible, it was compulsory until the end of the year. This is what I heard on TV, on the TV's news.
Okay. I'm very happy to go with what you hear on TV rather than what I think I hear on TV. Johnny from Belgium. Hola, bom dia, alegria, Filomena, Carla e todos. A question for Filomena. Is there a difference between afinal and finalmente? And when to use one or the other? Great question. Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, a final and finalmente, yes, are different. Finalmente, and we have spoken about the ending of this mente last month. I don't know if you remember, but finalmente means finally, right? Because
Okay.
I have mentioned all the endings that you could substitute, you could replace. So in English, this would be li for the ment in Portuguese. So finally. So you can say finalmente é Filomena Friday. Finally. Finally, it's Filomena Friday. But a final is in the sense of, after all, for example, you can say the weather forecast was for rain, but after all, it's sunny. So in Portuguese, you would say o boletim meteorológico dava chuva, mas afinal está sol. So this afinal is something that expresses something opposite, right? So I thought that this was like this, but after all, it's like that. So a final is different from finally, finalmente.
Yes, and that was a really good way of boosting up the vocabulary, wasn't it? With the finalmente or igualmente.
Yeah, and I think the weather is always a good example for British.
It does help embed. Yes, tea or weather, definitely. Yeah. Paul Richards, thanks for that, Johnny. Bon dia alegria. Google translates alegria as joy. Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And happiness, of course, as well as Joel is saying.
Happiness, we can say happiness. For happiness, we can say felicidade.
Yes.
Felicidade. Right?
Okay.
Joy, alegria.
Joy, alegria, and of course, yes, immortalized. I think we need some T-shirts, don't we, with Bon dia alegria on? And
why not?
A quick hands up in the comments. Who would buy one of those with a Bon dia alegria? My dog is chewing up something. Oh, it's okay. In my opinion, you can have Ola with or without Lisoish. You can have Ola where you train speaking and train freely. Without a specific, that's getting kind of complicated, but I think we get the gist of that, Rita.
Yeah.
Thank you. And of course, this is the beauty of language, isn't it? There will always be these little nuances in there, which will change according to many factors, many variables.
Yeah. Also, sometimes also regional characteristics. I mean, sometimes although the country is small, but sometimes in one part of the country you say it like this, and another part of the country you're saying like that. So
yes, as people who've travelled Portugal will no doubt realise when they say "meia de leite" in one place and then get a funny look in another part of the
or if you ask for imperial, and then if you come to Coimbra, you ask for imperial, and it should be fino.
Fino, of course. Obrigado, Filomena from Johnny. Helpful this morning already there. And bon dia, Filomena, girl from Susan Renshaw this morning. Okay, so para and por. This is something I will have experienced sat at a table. My favorite local, previously my ex-local cafe, funnily enough, called I think it was the Restaurante Carlos, and when the food's coming, you might say para me, yeah, for me, or and so that's one use I'm aware of with para. And also I know the word. It's also stop, isn't it? Parar.
But that is not para. That is para.
Para. Okay, we're opening up our vowels again this morning.
That's something different because that's a verb and para is a preposition. In terms of grammar, is completely different. But yes, you are right. They are similar, but para, and again we come to the vowel sounds, right?
Yeah.
Because if you open the vowel pa, so para is the verb stop. But if you say pa, para, you close the vowel, so it's the preposition para that can be to, towards, for. You can't, because these are prepositions, para and por, the prepositions are always the most difficult thing to learn in a foreign language, because you can't translate it literally. I mean, in a noun, for example, you have a table and the only translation is mesa, right? But no doubt about it. But a preposition is always very, very difficult to find one translation, because it depends on the structure of the language. So, of course, in one language you say one way, in another language you say it some other way, a bit differently, and so you can't translate the word always the same way, right? So and this happens in I guess every language. I know 6 languages, but at least the ones I know, it's a bit hard to translate. Okay,
Have you got a parrot there?
Sorry?
You got a parrot with you? I'm hearing the call of a parrot.
No.
It's just the voices in my head again. It's fine. Okay, so
well, maybe in the street, but I can't see any parrot. No.
I thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Para versus
so para. Let's start with para then. Okay. So when we speak about the word para, it always implies a movement from a starting point A to a destination point B. This can be physically or even in a more abstract idea of movement. Okay, so it can indicate a destination or a direction. So just where you're going to. So, for example, if you say vou para casa, what is vou para casa?
to go home or to go to the
I'm
house.
going home, right? I'm going home. So you see, here in English, if you say I'm going home, you don't even have any preposition. But in Portuguese, you say vou para casa, meaning that I'm going, and that is my final destination, right? That is my destination. You can say, for example, vou de comboio para o Algarve.
Yes.
Vou de comboio para o Algarve, so I'm going by train to the Algarve. So if you say to the Algarve, again, the direction and the destination, right? So the Algarve para o Algarve. You in directions you can say, for example, vamos para a esquerda. Vamos para a esquerda. Let's go left. Let's go to the left, we say. Or so we are going left. Vamos para a esquerda, ou vamos para a direita, right? Ou vamos para cima, let's go up. Ou vamos para baixo, let's go down. So always indicates a final destination or the direction. Then it indicates also a goal. And again, as I said, a goal is a more abstract idea of movement, because you start where you are now and your goal is to reach the other point B, right? So, for example, if you say, eu vejo Filomena Friday para aprender português, right? So that means I watch Filomena Friday to learn Portuguese. So that is your goal, right? Eu vejo Filomena Friday para aprender português, right?
Yep.
So
to be like a for to learn. Okay.
To learn. To learn.
Yeah.
You can also use para to say, to mention the purpose of an object, for example. You can say, esta faca é boa para cortar. Esta faca é boa para cortar. This knife is good for cutting or to cut, right? So this knife is good to cut. Esta faca é boa para cortar. Okay.
It always gets everyone's attention using that particular word, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Then, as you mentioned when you were in the cafe,
Yes.
to refer to the receiver. And
Yeah.
again, if you think about the receiver of something like the coffee that they bring for you, and you say, é para mim, it's for me. So again, the coffee goes from point A, from the waiter, to you, right? It's to point B. So if you say, este presente é para ti, this present is for you, the present goes from point A to point B, right?
Okay.
You say, eu gosto de cozinhar para a minha família. So this is also to speak about the receiver. I enjoy cooking for my family. So they are the ones who receive that action in that case, right? Eu gosto de cozinhar para a minha família, right?
Okay.
So I hope that was clear now about this para. So para always implies, thank you, Rita, para always implies a movement, either physically or a bit more abstract, okay? But it's something to do with final destination, movement, final destination, movement, goal, a purpose, or the receiver of something, okay?
Yes. Okay, got it.
So, this is, of course, the simplest part. That's why I started with para. Because now, let's go to the second preposition, por. Right? So, por can be translated in English again as for or by or through.
Okay.
And it doesn't focus as para on the 2 points or on the destination, but on the road travel, on the way taken to get there, right? So if it goes through something, alongside something, by some place, so it's not to do. If you represent it graphically, the para is A going to B, right? But here, to represent graphically the por, we usually use a line like this, meaning that it's the way you take, not about the 2 points, but just the way you take to get somewhere, right?
Okay.
So, but this por, the para never changes. Para is always para, right? It never changes. But the preposition por changes. It can be just por, but if it's followed by something feminine, some feminine word, because you know in Portuguese everything goes around being family or masculine, singular or plural. So if it's something, okay, let's start with masculine. How do you say the in the masculine?
Well, oh.
U, right?
Oh.
It's an O, but we read it U. Oh. So if we join, because we love joining things together, isn't it? And if we join por and U, then we become it becomes another word, which is pelo. Por plus U equals pelo. Okay.
Okay.
Pelo, right? For example, I can say o autocarro passa pelo meu bairro. The bus passes through or by my neighborhood, right? Yes. O autocarro passa pelo meu bairro, because the word bairro ends with an O, it's a masculine word, so you have to say pelo bairro, pelo meu bairro.
Okay.
By my neighborhood. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
I've seen
Then
this when you see obrigada pela sua visita.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So if you say feminine, if you say a word in the feminine, it's a. So por plus an a, right? Por plus a, it becomes pela, P-E-L-A, pela. Then the plural is the same. If you have masculine plural, you say pelos because you put together por plus os, os. So
Yeah.
it becomes pelos. And the plural feminine, it's also pelas because you join por with us, as. So pelas. So when do we use this por? So as I said, it always indicates the way we take, right? The way taken by something, even the bus, right? For example. So I can say, eu vou pela autoestrada. Eu vou pela autoestrada. That means I'm taking the highway, right? I'm taking the motorway. So, eu vou pela autoestrada. It means that I take that way to get somewhere. I can say, for example, eu vou para Coimbra pela autoestrada. So
Okay.
I'm referring my destination, Coimbra. So it's para, eu vou para Coimbra. And then I refer how I get there, pela autoestrada, right? So this is different. The para is the direction or destination, and the pela, in this case, because autoestrada is feminine, it's the way I take, right? I could also say, eu vou para Coimbra pela estrada nacional.
Yes.
Right? So I'm taking the national road.
I've got this. How I'm coding it in my own mind here for a minute is the word via, or
Yes,
via,
that's right.
It's
yes,
like
yes.
pelo is in the going for and via
via something. Yes, you are right. So to give an example in the plural, for example, you can say ele gosta de passear pelos campos. Ele gosta de passear pelos campos. So, for example, he likes to stroll through the fields.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
For example, your dog.
Yes.
Right? So you can say pelos campos, through the fields. Then it also has to do with exchanging something for something else. Also buying, referring to money. You can say, posso trocar esta camisola por uma maior? Posso trocar esta camisola por uma maior? So can I exchange this jumper for a bigger one? Right? In this case, por uma maior. So if I'm saying uma, I'm not saying the, right? If I say the, then I have to put the word together and it says, it becomes pela, right? But
yeah.
in this case, I'm saying for a bigger one, right? Not the bigger one. If I want to say the bigger one, it would be pela maior. But if I'm saying, can I exchange this sweater for a bigger one bigger one? So it's por uma maior. Okay?
Uma melhor. Okay. And so interestingly there, melhor means better and bigger.
Maior is bigger. Maior. Melhor is better.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Melhor and
melhor. Melhor, better.
Yeah.
And maior. And of course, again, some people say maior, depending on the part of the country. Some people say maior, but here we say maior, and so maior is bigger.
Okay.
You can also refer to the price, for example, eu comprei este livro por 10 euros. I bought this book for 10 euros. So, eu comprei este livro por 10 euros. So, And why? Again, it refers, if you think a bit more in an abstract way, is the way it took to get the book, right? I mean, what was the way to get the book is to give 10 euros, right? So
Yes.
it's the same. Then you can also speak about an approximate time. When you say around 9, for example, you can say o espetáculo começa por volta das 9 horas. Por volta das. This means around, and then you say the time. So, for example, the show starts at around 9. O espetáculo começa por volta das. So, whenever you want to say more or less at 2, at 3, at 4, por volta das 2, por volta das 3, por volta das 4, and so on.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, being in Portugal, you know that the timetable is always por volta das. Right?
Okay.
It's not the exact time, but it's por volta das, around. Right? Then also when we refer to the cause of something, what for? So, for example, you can say eles lutaram pela liberdade. So we have the 25th of April recently. So we can say that they fought for freedom. So eles lutaram pela liberdade, for freedom. But liberdade again is a feminine word, so we say pela liberdade. Then when we want to say, oh, for God's sake, for goodness sake, we say pelo amor de Deus.
Sorry, but was that pen?
Pelo amor de Deus. Pelo amor de Deus. Por amor de Deus, right? So for God's sake.
Yes.
Yeah. Pelo amor de Deus. So that is also an expression with pelo. And as you said, for to say thank you for something, it's also obrigado pelo presente. So you can say obrigado pelo presente. Thank you for the present. Obrigado or obrigada, depending if you are a man or a woman, but obrigado pela fruta. For example, the neighbors usually give you some fruit, right? It's usual when you have lots of fruit in your backyard, you also share it with your neighbors. So when the neighbors give you some fruit, for example, you can say obrigado or obrigada pela fruta, for the fruit. Yes. Or pelos vegetais, for the vegetables. Okay, so it's always pelo, pela, or for example, if you want to say thank you for helping me, obrigado por me ajudar. Thank you for helping me. Obrigado por me ajudar.
Por me ajudar. Okay.
If you want to say thank you for the help, then it's obrigado pela ajuda. Obrigado pela ajuda. Because ajuda, the help, is feminine, so pela ajuda. If you say thank you for helping, it's the verb, so nothing to do with masculine or feminine, so it's just por. Obrigado por me ajudar. For helping me.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Then we also use this por to do with time, the duration, a period of time. For example, you can say, vou a Inglaterra por 2 meses. This means I'm going to England for 2 months, right? Vou a Inglaterra por 2 meses. So when you want to say for 2 days, for a week, por uma semana, for a month, por mês, etc. So in relation to time also.
Okay.
And also in grammar we call it the passive voice. So when something is done by someone, so you can say, for example, a aula está a ser dada por mim. The class is being taught by me, so the lesson is being given by me. A aula está a ser dada por mim, by me. Of course, you could say, I am giving the lesson, right? But I can say the other way around. The lesson is given by me, right? This is the passive voice. And, for example, you can say, o jantar é feito pelo meu marido, dinner is prepared by my husband. Okay, so this is also pelo, pela, por, also in that case. So these are the situations where you can use the por. So and it's as you can see, it's very different from para, because para is always referring to destination, a direction, a final goal. Okay, and so that's the difference. And por is more the way you take to get something, to buy something, you have to pay. So that's the way. Or to, for example, if they give you a present, so thank you for the present, because you are thanking for that action of the transaction of the object, for example. So that is the explanation I can give you between.
No, that's really great. Rita is loving what you're doing this morning. Boy, yeah, that's the explanation, isn't it? And Jani is a big fan as well. I mean, this is quite complicated, but it's absolutely right. You know, your answers are very clear. Do you teach one-to-one online? I think we should answer that.
Yes, I do. You just contact me through my email, tripsforbrits@gmail.com.
I will put in the comments. I will put that in the comments before long, Jani. I thought you were already a student, actually, because I know you're a big fan of Filomena Friday. So that's great as well. We have another question from you, Jani, a little bit later on after we've looked at a few more comments. Thank you for that, Filomena. And I think we probably got into the moment there where some people think, oh, I'm never going to get this. But what came to mind for me is that those sorts of uses come across very much in the conversation. So this is a really good reason to watch TV and listen in Portuguese, isn't it? Because you will hear those different illustrations during interactions between people more, and it will come to life, I think, more easily than when when you're reading signs, like when I said, pela sua visita, or if you're watching TV, you see these things. Oh, okay, that makes sense now. So the immersion, I think, is really important to bring the theory to life. Absolutely.
Yes. If for example, if you see it on the sign, for example, when you are leaving a town, or sometimes they have obrigado pela sua visita, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for your visit. So that is, as you said, listening and reading, as in that case on the sign, and then you get used to the expression, right? You get used to say it like that. You don't have to think, oh my God, is this a destination? Is this a goal? No, I mean, you don't have to think, because you get used to those phrases, right? Like that. You get used to the sentence like that. So
watch TV, and it helps embed.
Yes.
It really does.
Yeah. Sometimes people say, "Oh, but I don't like the programs." Okay, but I mean, you have lots of things to choose from, and there are also lots of things on YouTube, and things that you can listen to, songs to listen to, for example. You can, for example, on YouTube, you can listen to a song, you can search for the lyrics, right? And then you can easily follow with the lyrics and try to understand the words.
That's a great idea. And maybe we should have the Good Morning Portugal collaborative playlist on Spotify of Portuguese songs. So we can, learning Portuguese and then singing it really again, doesn't it, to embed it? And I know it might be Brazilian Portuguese, it might be a bit colloquial, but I think the benefit is probably still there to be learning songs.
Of course. It's better to learn, even if it's Brazilian Portuguese, it's better to learn rather than not learning at all. Right?
Exactly. And have fun doing it. Learn a few Portuguese love songs and impress your partner. Why not? I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one hearing parrots. So Jim and I did hear the parrot, but there's still a mystery about where it might have come from.
Maybe I have a parrot hidden somewhere. I don't know.
The parrots of Miranda. The weather in Poland yesterday 10 degrees, today 17. Finally 27 is what Barbara's looking forward to. Amazing. We'll come back to your question, Gianni, in just a minute. Maria Costa is here this morning from our Ask Our Expats team. She's got a fantasy band she's working with, Dirty Farker. Thank you for sharing, Maria. Filomena, sexta-feira, ajuda-me os pequenos esforços para aprender português. Star pupil, Peter, please.
Excellent, Peter.
Very good, Peter.
Very good.
Gold star for you this morning. And also he goes on to say, Bem-haja was really good to learn. Could you suggest, how do I say, I'm sorry about your accident? Or it's not funny, but just had a builder show me the thumb he chopped off with an axe. Well, did he have it in his pocket, Pete? Apologies for my odd questions, but yeah, what? How would you say that? I'm sorry. Do you use desculpa in that situation or not?
No, because I mean, you don't have to apologize, right? because the builder chopped off his thumb, so it's not your fault. But we can say, oh, coitado. Poor you, right? Coitado. Or lamento, okay. You could say I'm sorry, lament, but I mean, it's not your fault, so it wouldn't be proper. I think it wouldn't be very appropriate. But you can say, oh, coitado. When we say, que pena, what a pity, que pena.
Que pena. And basically, get that man a drink. He sounds like he needs a brandy or
maybe it's better.
And bem-haja, what does the phrase bem-haja mean?
Bem-haja, yes, because Peter lives near Fundão, so in the area of Fundão, Castelo Branco, and they use that expression quite a lot, bem-haja, to thank. So it's another way of saying thank you, but bem-haja is in the sense of may you bem-haja. It's a bit hard to translate literally, but it's expressing your gratitude. Bem-haja. It's basically to express your gratitude. Bem-haja.
And quite location specific, so it works well in Fundão and it might not elsewhere.
No, it works. It's not very common. For example, here where I live, I wouldn't say it's common to hear bem-haja, but maybe from older people, right?
Yes. Okay.
Younger people wouldn't say bem-haja, but older people, yes. And actually in Fundão and Covilhã, in that area, they also use the older form of you in the plural, vós, which is even when we teach Portuguese for foreigners, we don't usually speak about this vós because basically it's not used any longer. But in Fundão, in Covilhã, they again, older people still use this older form of you. We say vocês, but they say vós.
Very good. Okay, that's lovely to hear. Some of the older phrases, fantastic. Bringing another dimension to Pete's grasp. Another question from Johnny. Another question here. I struggle when to use a and o before names and when not. A Filomena and o Carla.
Yes, Filomena and o Carla. Yes. Well, when you say a sentence like, for example, if you want to say Filomena is on the show, if you start the sentence with Filomena, in Portuguese you have to start with a. A Filomena está no programa.
Yes.
Or o Carlo está no programa.
Yes.
But if you are calling or addressing the person, right? If you say, Carl, could you come over here, please? Then if you are calling the person, you don't say, oh, Carl. No, you say just Carl. You are just writing out the name, right?
Oh,
So,
because I thought I've heard people say that. Like I might say to you, "A Filomena." I mean, there's no formality in that. There's no need for that.
a Filomena?
Yeah, if I'm getting your attention, I don't have to say "A Filomena." It could just
No. Sometimes when people call,
yes.
they say, "Oh,
Okay.
oh, Filomena, oh, Carol,"
Okay, that's
right?
what I
They
heard. That's
say,
what I heard.
"Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,"
Okay. Yeah.
but this "oh" is neither nor "oo." It's
Okay.
just to call attention. It's like when you say "hey," right?
Yes.
Hey. So in Portuguese we say, "Oh, Filomena, oh, Carol, oh," right?
Okay. Okay.
Oh, Jose, oh, but it's just to call attention. It is not the A and it is not the O. It's just a call of attention.
Very
Okay,
good. Okay, no, I was confusing
um,
those things. All right.
but it's not no. But in general, yes, you have to say when you use the name in a sentence. For example, um, I go with Filomena to Coimbra. Eu
Yeah.
vou com a Filomena para Coimbra. So, a Filomena. You don't just say eu vou com Filomena. Eu vou com a Filomena. So, in a sentence, in a normal sentence, let's say, where you say the name, you put a or u. But if you are speaking to the person and calling her or his name, then you don't use the a or u. For example, when you say your name, if you say chamo-me, I call myself in Portuguese, so my name is chamo-me, you don't use the a or u. You say, I say chamo-me Filomena,
Yes.
chamo-me. Because if
Otherwise,
I say I call myself, right? So I'm calling myself Filomena. So I don't use the A or the O. But if I say I am Filomena. So if I say I am Filomena, I'm not calling myself. It's just I am Filomena. So I say eu sou a Filomena. Eu sou a Filomena. Right?
that sounds really grand though. I
But
am
when
Filomena.
you call when you call someone, even when you call yourself,
Yeah.
you don't use a or u.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
It does. It does. But and it does sound like on a special occasion when you step into the room and you say, "I am the Filomena." It's like, okay, great. Here she is. That's quite
I
it.
am a Filomena, yeah. Eu sou a Filomena, yeah.
That's really helpful as well. That's fantastic. Let's see, Behaja, love that. I want to know, says deux corgis, two corgi dogs. I wonder, could this be Her Majesty the Queen? I don't know. I want to know about the bouquets of May the 13th.
Dia da Espiga. Dia da
Yeah,
Espiga, yeah.
and would that be 3 de Maio?
13
Yeah,
de maio. 13 de maio.
3 de Maio. I live in Portugal, in a Portugal community, and I am the only American. I think it already please my neighbors. It please my neighbors. I can't find
Yeah.
it. I'm just putting that in the comments. So Dia de Spiga
Dia da
as
Espiga, yes.
Dia de Spiga, and it might translate as spikes and ears as well. But it's all about the wheat and the little bouquet.
Ear of grain, yes. The wheats of the ears of wheat, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to say a Graça is here, but Graça, Amori, bom dia to you, dear Graça. Bom dia a todos presentes e ausentes. Those present and absent friends as well.
Yes.
Fantastic. Anna's here. Bom dia a todos. Good evening to you, Anna.
Olá, Ana.
Thanks for your help on the webinar last night. Starting a business in Portugal with Daniel Reyes. I will be putting that webinar up, the recording. Oh my goodness, Filomena. How does anyone start a business in Portugal? It's quite a process, isn't it?
Everything is a process in Portugal.
Well said. Adrian and Laurie are here as well. Good evening. Good evening, good morning to you. What am I talking about? Good morning to you both. I was thinking about last evening's webinar, I think there. Project Frugal, Vinny and Denise over in New Zealand. A bit late joining, but better late than never. And yes, don't think you can escape the practice by joining late. You must watch the replay and practice all the pronunciations that
although we haven't practiced a lot today, but
no, it's true. I got some good technicals today. I listen to Fado quite often, and some other styles of music would be great too. Yes, let's get a collaborative playlist. That'd be fantastic.
As I said before, we have lots of other styles, not just Fado, right?
Yeah,
if you don't like Fado is great in my opinion. But if you don't like Fado, we have lots of other styles.
With Fado as well, I think the enunciation and how the words are shared could possibly be a little bit clearer than some other, straight down the line Portuguese rock and roll numbers that I think you might be able to hear the words a bit better in Fado. I'm not sure, but I might just be sounding like an old fart saying that. Ouvi a papagaio também. What does Donna say?
Papagaio.
Papagaio. What did I just?
Papagaio.
Papagaio. What's she saying?
She has heard. she has also heard the parrot.
Of the papagayo, of course.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
Papagayo. Well, I would say if it was tomorrow, maybe I don't know, because starting tomorrow they are shooting a film here. They are shooting here in the square, and they are making a film called O Pio dos Mochos. O Pio dos Mochos, meaning the hooting of the howls, right? O Pio dos Mochos. And actually, it's with Poland too. It's an audiovisual company, Ukbar Films, and the RTP1. And it's a co-production with Krakow Film Cluster from Poland. And they are filming here in Miranda, also because of the Chist village. They are having lots of scenes in our Chist village of Gondremash.
Yeah.
And so they are starting tomorrow and until the 28th of May. So the next days, we could have a parrot down there.
Yeah, and the mystery will be solved. Very good. Okay, Donna, thank you.
But you never know. You might see me in Poland, Barbara, on a film in Poland.
I think
you
so.
might see me.
I think that would be great to have you immortalized in a European movie there. Beaja, in a sense, this is like turning into the Portuguese namaste, isn't it?
Thank you for the help. Yeah. Obrigada pela ajuda.
Pela ajuda. Good that you are like that, or good that you exist. What a lovely thing to share with somebody.
Yeah.
Jordinja, the problem with songs is that sometimes even the natives have a hard time understanding them because they can be very. That's what I was saying. Yeah, if it gets a bit up tempo and a bit colloquial, it gets very dragged.
I can send you some later on. I can think of some songs that are slower, and I can send you some list.
Indeed. And emotion. I think that's you will get the emotion in the words if we're listening to songs as well. Fantastic, Barbara. Better pick slow-paced songs, easier to understand the words. Yeah.
Yes.
I think we're onto something there. I think a little bit of a collaborative playlist would be rather marvelous. Gondramaj e Linda. I was there last of the schist villages, of course.
Yes. I'm doing another tour. I'm doing another tour to Gondramaj very soon. And people always love to visit the Chist villages.
And you do your tours, of course. So I need to put that in. So Trips for Brits is with the with the number 4.
The number 4, yeah. Trips for Brits.
Mail.com. Now this is for the tours that Filomena does, as well as learning
and lessons. Yeah.
With the lessons there, the lições or the aulas.
And a lot more. I take care of almost anything because lots of foreigners they come to me for help in many areas. So town hall, doctors, finance, IMT with driving license, lots and lots of different things, and I take care a bit of everything
I think
for them.
there's another film in that. That's a film plot itself. You going to the doctor with somebody, that could be hilarious. Carry on translation. So
And
better
yeah,
late than never. We're getting simultaneous translation as well. Mais valtar que nunca. So yes, you need to say that if you're late. That's a good a good shout there.
mais vale tarde que nunca.
Mais valtar que nunca. Por dia todos, I find radio stations using the Radio Garden app. So again, you're just listening to the radio, hearing the music, all sorts around Portugal and Brazil as well. Says even there. Filomena, it's been great. You're such a lovely tonic to have on the show on a Friday. Sexta-feira, great way to go into a Bom Fim de Semana. Do you want to have a final little bit of homework to share with people?
Well, the homework could be trying to find sentences with para or por, right?
Yes.
Because we have talked about that. So try to find some sentences that you can find every day, or you can say, like you said in the cafe, é para mim, right? It's for me, it's for me. Or at the restaurant when they come with the food and they ask, who ordered this? And right, and you can say, é para mim, it's for me, right?
Perfect.
So simple sentences like those. You can try to, and if you want to ask any question, you can always send me an email, and I'm happy to help you.
Yes, and I agree entirely here with Barbara. Filomena, you are great. Thank you so much for being with us on Filomena Friday. And I think what you're saying there, just decoding a simple sentence that I think it's possible. When you're driving about as an expat, you can develop a sort of certain state of mind where you stop looking, and that how I was able to say obrigado pela sua visita. Just to decode something like that gives you a little bit of vocabulary, gives you a little bit more. It wakes you up to not just drive past things and not understand them.
Yes,
and it gives you confidence as well, doesn't it? When you make a connection in your mind like that, when we're talking about pura and pela there. To make the connection suddenly is great for the brain and great for the learning, I think.
Yes. Now you know that pela is the word por, by or through, plus the, right? Plus u or a or us or as. So pelo, pela, pelos, pelas. It's always like that, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Filomena. And then another cheeky comment. I think he likes having in jokes with you about me, Filomena. Para de puras bananas espalhadas na mesa. Can we possibly talk about this one or not? all the Portuguese people are laughing at me now.
Yes, he's teasing you. He's just teasing you.
As usual. Okay. Thank you, Joel. Manner to you, and bem to you, especially to you this morning. Thank you so much, Filomena. It's been great to be in your company again. So bem aja, and bom fim de semana to you. Muito obrigado.
Bom fim de semana e até à próxima.
Tchau, tchau.
Tchau.